भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यसेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांति। There is a clarification, we will take it up that first. Sanchita Rajani. Sanchita is partly exhausted by knowledge, partly by experience. Explain. Also, effort required for that which has to be exhausted by effort. There are the few types of karmas: Sanchita karma, Agami karma, and Prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is that which you have to experience. Knowledge will not be of any help there. You have to experience. That is called Prarabdha. Agami karma is that which you have created by your own actions but not yet manifested. That is Agami karma. This Prarabdha and Agami karma put together is called Sanchita. So Sanchita is your total karma. Of that total karma, some has gained manifestation for experience. The rest are waiting for manifestation. So, of this Sanchita, which is Agami and Prarabdha, what part of it can be exhausted through knowledge and understanding? The Agami karma can be exhausted through knowledge and understanding the effort. Prarabdha karma, the Prarabdha karma has to be experienced. You cannot escape that Prarabdha experience because of the very nature of the Prarabdha karma is such that you need to experience that. Therefore, the two karmas, the Agami karma and Prarabdha karma put together is what is called Sanchita karma. So I said a part of Sanchita can be exhausted through knowledge, partly by experience, meaning that part of Agami karma and that part of Prarabdha karma. What is the effort that is required to exhaust it? In the general context, it is Karma Bhakti Jnana Yoga is the effort that is required to exhaust the Sanchita karma. So, for understanding purposes, we will not say we are exhausting Agami karma. For understanding purposes, we will say we are exhausting Sanchita karma. Because for all practical purposes, your karmas are exhausted. Whatever Prarabdha is left, whatever is left behind, which is Prarabdha, anyway that is going to exhaust by itself. The moment you experience it, it is over. Prarabdha means that which gets over by experience and you cannot add up to Prarabdha. So therefore, about Prarabdha you need not worry at all, because anyway after experiencing it's over. Prarabdha karma is a very simple experience, it's over. Where we have difficulty is in Agami karma. One, in the case of a non-enlightened person, in the case of an ignorant person, the dividing line between Agami and Prarabdha is very blur. It's not a clear cut. It's not a clear demarcation in the case of an ignorant person. Therefore, for all practical purposes, the ignorant person has to take all vasanas as Sanchita vasanas and make an effort to exhaust. So from his standpoint, he would take all as Sanchita and exhaust. He wouldn't worry about what is my Prarabdha, what is my Agami karma, and then how do I know that this is my Prarabdha. All that doesn't help out in the case of an ignorant person. In the case of enlightened person, the demarcation line is very, very clear. After Jivan Mukti, whatever is left behind is Prarabdha karma. After he attains realization, before the body dies away, whatever happens after realization, before the body dies away, that portion of it is called Prarabdha karma, for which there is no effort that is required to exhaust that. It will die away by itself. That is Prarabdha karma. So don't worry about it. In the case of an ignorant person, not to worry about this segregation. Why I brought this segregation itself is to say that there are in the context of titiksha, practicing endurance, where you put up with something. Generally, people say it is my Prarabdha and they put up with it. They say it is my Prarabdha and they put up with it. Now, this putting up and all in the modern day context is not because putting up with is seen as a very negative thing. Putting up means you have given up your effort. You are not making an effort to. We should fight it. We should always try to transcend. How can we passively reconcile and give up? You know, so many things keeps happening. Nevertheless, Prarabdha means in the context of Titiksha, understand it. I think I would have brought in this only in the context of Titiksha. Otherwise, we talk about exhausting karmas. We will not even use the word Sanchita karma. We will use the word exhausting the vasanas only. In the context of Titiksha, where you have to put up with something. Like what they say in English, what can't be cured has to be endured. That endurance is Titiksha in that context. And don't worry about what is the effort required to exhaust it. The effort that is required to exhaust it is what we are discussing all the time. Karma, Bhakti, Jnana Yoga and Shravana and Manana. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Karma, Bhakti, Jnana Yoga is the method by which all the karmas get exhausted. Is it okay, Rajini? Yeah. I don't know who is handling her today. Yeah, I'm not able to hear you. Yes, Subramaniam.
Okay, host us. Subramaniam, you are unmuted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I just want to. Last week we talked about Titiksha.
Yes.
Is ability to understand that Prarabdha we need to exhaust by experiencing it.
Yes.
And our Ajnanam, we try to resist Prarabdha and create what more karmas through our free will.
Yes.
So which adds to our Agami for the future actions.
Yes, correct.
So, right understanding is not to resist prarabdha, accept it as prarabdha,
Correct.
experience and exhaust it so that you can
Correct.
prevent further action.
Correct. That
Right?
is the beauty of the. You are correct. That is the very beauty of the quality titiksha. Accepting it and experiencing it, and not being complaining, bitter, frustrated. A cheerful acceptance, because experiencing it means that karma is getting.
Exhausted.
Where the cheer comes is the conviction that upon experiencing it is going to get over. Therefore, the very complaint or the frustration would not come. In the ordinary person's case, since the dividing line is so confusing, we really don't know what is Sanchita and what is Agami and what is Prarabdha. Since the dividing line is very blur, number one. Number two, even if the higher intellect says it is your Prarabdha, you will not be able to take it. You will not be able to digest it, because there will be always an attempt, which is the very nature of ignorance. Dukkha nivritti. The very nature of ignorance is dukkha nivritti. Therefore, there is an obsession with avoiding dukkha at any cost. Some dukkha in life cannot be. What he is saying is, some dukkha in life cannot be avoided. You need to experience it. Like any example you give, it can be completely misunderstood. That is why it is very difficult to give example for prarabdha. Okay, children are the prarabdha. The type of children that you have is prarabdha karma. The partner that you get in life, the parents that you get in life is prarabdha karma. That is why in this culture we don't have a thing called divorce at all. Why? Because it has come to you, because you have to experience it. So by you clipping and getting and running away and all, what are going to happen? Anyway, you are going to meet up with that same person only in some other birth, in some other form. Therefore, they say, that is why they say parent, the parents, the brother, the sister, the wife, the children, idalla they call it as, yeah.
Devan kodutavaram.
Yeah, correct. It's my prarabdha. It's my prarabdha karma. I asked for it, it has come to me, and I don't have any complaint about it. I asked for it, it has come to me. I don't have any complaint about it. I do things for the welfare of everybody. I'm interested in the general welfare, and I do things for the welfare of everybody. But one thing that will not happen is when dukkha comes, there will not be a resistance to that dukkha. That's why I said a few minutes back, this obsession with dukkha nivritti has made human beings so paranoid, so frightened of pain. The small pain is so difficult to take, which they don't call it as weakness, they call it as sensitivity nowadays, no? Yeah, sensitivity, big word, makes it look so holy, makes it look so right. Yeah. See, a person makes a negative remark, a bitter word, a word, that person is not able to, they say, I'm a very sensitive person, I can't handle this. What sensitivity? Vedanta says, prarabdha karma, take it happily. take it happily, and one tick mark. One part of it is exhausted. One part of it is exhausted. So that's why I gave examples of something where you can't get rid of these things. That's why I gave these examples, like father, mother. Yeah. The father, mother, the entire parivar that comes with the father and mother. The entire parivar that comes with them. No, it's not only father and mother separate. Yeah, father's brother, sister, and they all that becomes part of the prarabdha. You can't escape that. Yeah. Wife prarabdha, the brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, all that becomes part of the prarabdha, where you don't resist the pain. That's what it means. Children, most of the time children don't do things that gives sukha. They do things which gives lot of dukkha. Yeah. So what do? You accept it. But then the difficulty nowadays is whenever we say acceptance means abdina summa irukanuma sir. Does that mean we should not do anything to correct it? Does that mean we have to suffer only? Vedanta says, how much ever you make an effort to overcome suffering, some suffering you have to go through. Willingness to go through that suffering is what prarabdha karma, the concept of prarabdha is all about. Titiksha is all about. So titiksha can be practiced only when you can connect it to prarabdha. Titiksha can be practiced only when you can connect it to prarabdha. That is why I connected it that day. Are you able to follow? You can practice titiksha when you connect it with prarabdha. And nowadays, because of this too much of exaggerated value given to effort, and everything can be managed, and everything has to be conquered and all that, which creates so much of agony, and that very attempt itself causes so much of agony. The very resistance itself causes lot of pain and suffering. Therefore, what do you understand? Are you able to follow? Therefore, what do you understand? Prarabdha karma means that which have to be experienced, and the very experiencing is exhausting that. The very experiencing is exhausting that. Is it okay?
So just to add another point here, prayaschitta karma performed to obviate the prarabdham.
Yes.
Will it be assumed as a nishiddha karma in the aspect of adding to sanchita karma?
No. The concept of prayaschitta karma is not in relation to prarabdha karma. The concept of prayaschitta karma comes in, to put it very simply, if I say I have to experience it, then if by prayaschitta karma, if I can offset it, then it doesn't fit under the definition of prarabdha only. How much ever prayaschitta I do also, it will not have any impact on some experiences. That is prarabdha karma. So, what is prayaschitta karma? Prayaschitta karma is also in relation to the agami karma only. You have to equate it to agami karma only, the prayaschitta karma also, not to the prarabdha karma. That is why prayaschitta karma is in relation to agami karma, which is yet to come, The only reference point is the horoscope man, no, for Prayaschitta karma. Who's the reference point for Prayaschitta karma?
Astrologer.
Only the horoscope man. Only that Jyotish guy is the reference point for Prayaschitta karma. Minus him, there is no. Take away him, we will never know what is Prayaschitta karma. And yet, Prayaschitta karma is a accepted Vedic accepted karma. It is not a superstitious karma. It is not a superstitious karma. It is an accepted Vedic karma. Nowadays, there is nobody who can talk about it or practicing it. We say, don't worry about all that nowadays. So, now I am not talking about the Prayaschitta karma in the way that it is done today. I am talking about the concept of Prayaschitta karma. Are you able to follow what I am saying, the distinction? Now, the very Prayaschitta karma, if it can tamper with Prarabdha karma, it means it is not Prarabdha karma at all in the first place. Like for example, if Ramana Maharshi can do some Prayaschitta karma and can escape experiencing the pain of cancer, let us say, then it is not a Prarabdha karma at all for him. But what is this Prayaschitta karma? I'll explain that. I'll briefly talk about it also. Prayaschitta karma. Prayaschitta means undoing. Undoing in terms of action. That is the more popularly accepted meaning of the word Prayaschitta. The actual meaning of the word Prayaschitta is a resolve, mental resolve not to do it again. That is Prayaschitta. That is why the word Chitta is included in that. Chitta means thinking, resolve. So I take by doing a set of actions, I take a firm resolve that I would not do it again. Like for example, going to, you have to go to Kashi to get rid of some, you have to go to Kashi to do a few Prayaschitta karma. If they say, nowadays it doesn't make any sense because you get up in the morning, go to Kashi at 10 o'clock, finish the Prayaschitta, come back at 3 o'clock. No, it doesn't make any difference. The amount of effort that goes into that Prayaschitta makes the person take a firm resolve that not to do it again. So, you can take a firm resolve through knowledge and understanding. One way of having resolve is through knowledge and understanding. Another way of having a Dhrida resolve, another way of having this Dhrida Nischaya Chitta is by karma also. I do some karmas and get this chitta, that I get this resolve that I would not commit this again. Those set of practices, those set of actions is called Prayaschitta karma. First, we have to be very clear with the definition of Prayaschitta karma. Are you able to follow? And Prayaschitta karma is one of the accepted Vedantic also. It's not only when I say Vedic means Vedanta also. Like we do something, we immediately go and say sorry, no? I say sorry. When I say sorry, I just don't say sorry. I give a rose and say sorry. There is a fight which should not have happened, and then I want to make it up. So how do I make it up? I say a sorry. Not only I say a sorry, just verbally, I buy a. One is I mentally resolve that I would not fight again. Another is I verbalize it and say sorry. Prayaschitta, why we call it as karma is because it comes to the level of the body. It doesn't, sorry, when we say body means action. It comes to the level of the physical action of doing something. What is the physical action of doing something? I buy a rose also, and along with the rose, I say sorry. What is that rose? Per se, rose has nothing to do with it. But yet, that rose is the prayaschitta. That rose is the prayaschitta. Clear? The gift that I buy is the prayaschitta. Why? Because it's not out of happiness I am buying a gift. One is out of happiness I can buy a gift and give. Another is I did something wrong, to offset that I am doing something. Now when I do something to offset what I did, that is called prayaschitta karma. Now the mistake that people make is when they attribute so many things to, when they attribute their problems to something that happened in the past, and if they can, by prayaschitta, if they offset it, things will be right in the present. That connect doesn't work out. That connect will never work out. Prayaschitta is a firm resolve that I would not do it. I would not do it again. So, in prayaschitta, primarily what is needed now? The conviction that I did it. It was my mistake. So, for prayaschitta, what is needed for prayaschitta to work? For prayaschitta to work, the conviction that I made a mistake. And I will not whip myself because of that mistake, because I was ignorant in the past. Because of my ignorance, I did it. Now I try to rectify it. And rectification means a resolve not to do it again. So prayaschitta karma is that karma that brings about a commitment. So prayaschitta karma is a set of actions you do that brings about a commitment in you that you would not repeat it again. That is the prayaschitta karma. Are you able to follow? And in some areas of life, this prayaschitta karma is also needed. No commitment. Are you able to follow what I am saying? Now, in that way, Vedanta talks about prayaschitta karma. Now, what people believe is by doing it and not having a resolve, nothing would get. I just buy a rose, and as I am giving the rose, I am using another vulgar word. That prayaschitta wouldn't work. Are you able to follow? I give it, and then I say, with bitterness I give. A acceptance that I made a mistake, and a commitment that I would not do it again. How to make a person aware of this? They brought in this concept called prayaschitta karma. Now, what does prayaschitta karma deal with? Prayaschitta karma also deal with agami karma portion only, not not prarabdha. Long back, I have heard, contrastingly, there are most of the people, contrastingly, they say, prayaschitta is to offset the effect of prarabdha. I have heard that also.
Correct.
So many people have said it. So many
Correct.
people say, prayaschitta karma is done to offset the effect of prarabdha. Now, if I can do something to offset the effect of prarabdha means, then the very definition of prarabdha has to be, the very definition has to be changed, no? You have to experience it as long as you don't do prayaschitta karma. So, prarabdha karma, then if prayaschitta karma can tamper with prarabdha means, how should we define prarabdha then? As long as you don't do prayaschitta, you will be affected by prarabdha karma. Therefore, now there are two ways of overcoming prarabdha karma. Either by prayaschitta or by experiencing. Then what is the method that everybody will adopt to? Prayaschitta only. Vedanta comes and says, that doesn't work. It won't work that way. Even if you do prayaschitta, you don't do prayaschitta for prarabdha karma, you do prayer for prarabdha karma. You do prayer for prarabdha karma. What is the prayer you do for prarabdha karma? The strength to the strength to endure that. Adha prarabdha karma porthavaraikum prayer da, upasana da. There is no other method with which we can deal with prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma, only way I can deal with prarabdha karma is by prayer. What is the prayer? Give me the strength to endure that. Like that man said, no? Like Swamiji gives his example, remember? Shift the, what is the disease? Elephantitis. Yeah, shift the elephantitis from the right leg to the left leg. That is understanding of prarabdha karma. Prayaschitta means remove elephantitis. Remove elephantitis. Now what I should do to remove elephantitis? Shiva will say, Adu mudiyadu, wherever you ask. Because that is prarabdha karma. So I have heard this. So many people and especially the scholarly pundits, those who have that kind of a training and all that, I have heard quite a number of detailed, elaborate explanations on this from early childhood, where they talk about prayaschitta karma as a means to bring down the intensity of prarabdha karma. Vedanta says it cannot be brought down. You have to experience it with the intensity with which it ought to be experienced. You have to go through that. There is no way that prayaschitta karma is going to help you out. But prayaschitta karma is very, very prayaschitta means a firm resolve, a commitment. Prayaschitta means a resolve, a commitment, not to repeat. That is why the English word sorry doesn't imply no repetition, no. The English word sorry means, okay, what I did, now what happens if I do it again tomorrow? Again another sorry. Third day I do it again another sorry. It doesn't really. So prayaschitta karma is a very beautiful concept in explaining what some act you can take a resolve not to repeat through knowledge and understanding in some areas. In some areas, you have to really get into an elaborate set of prescribed action to get that resolve. That elaborate set of prescribed actions to take that resolve of I would not repeat it again is prayaschitta karma. Why can't I dip in the river in my village only and do the same thing? Why they say, go all the way, do and come back. For the north, all the Prayaschitta places will be in the south. For the people of the north, all the Prayaschitta places will be in the south only. In the village where we are from, the entire Navagraha Sthala is only in the vicinity of 15 kilometers. All the village where we are from. I don't remember me, my father, my grandfather, anybody talking about any of these things. For it is the parihara for the north to come here. For the south, for us, what is the parihara for us? Kasi, Gaya, Rishikesh, Badrinath, something. Why? Because that much of effort has to be done to go there, to do it. Then only it is. Now, I am sitting in that village. Yeah, I can cycle to Tirunallar and come back. From the village where we are from, we can cycle to all the places and come back. Not now. It is the why they keep it like. I'm just giving this as an example to explain how they have kept the prescription as very arduous, very difficult. Prayaschitta means that is something which is something that is very difficult. Why? Because that difficulty is what will wake a person up sometimes. It's a very psychological, it's a very wonderful methodology. That is why of the karmas, are you able to follow? That is why of the karmas, Prayaschitta karma is an essential integral part of karma yoga. An essential integral part of karma yoga is Prayaschitta karma also. Nowadays, we really don't talk about this because the moment we talk about Prayaschitta karma today, we don't go to Prayaschitta karma to a saint. In those days, Prayaschitta karma would be told by the guru, by the saint, not by the astrologer. You don't go to an astrologer to know what is your Prayaschitta. The guru says this is your Prayaschitta, do it. Nowadays, and those days, the guru also knew a little bit of all this and Radhanala, they were able to say. See, today, that is a separate, misguided lot completely. Now, astrologer is to do what? The Pancha Anga potu kudukiradhu da astrologer is needed. Panchangam no potu kudukiradhu da we need an astrologer. Now, he is not supposed to prescribe Prayaschitta karmas and all that. They did it in the past. They did it. Adike kuda they talk about there is a very famous story in the life of the famous astrologer. No, one of the authoritative treatises on astrology is Padmavati, one of the textbook. Now, Padmavati is the daughter of an authoritative person. He wrote that book in the he wrote that book as a, what do you say, dedicated. Yeah, they write, no, dedicated to my wife, dedicated to. Now this book, one of the authoritative books on astrology, he dedicates it to the daughter. See, this man was so obsessed with the daughter. He saw the horoscope and all that. This literally happened in his life. And then he found out that she is going to become a widow, which somehow he studied by his knowledge of the astrology and all that. He knew what is the Prayaschitta also for that. So what is the Prayaschitta? In this time, if she gets married, it would be avoided. So what he did, instead of to measure the time, they use the hourglass, they use the water dripping. Those are all the clocks. Now, instead of using the hourglass, he thought the water dripping is more accurate way of showing the, like the mechanical clock versus digital clock and all that, no, like that. So he said by that he can bypass that. What happened was, this is the, he writes about it, the man himself writes about it. What happened was, some dirt from the water went and blocked the hole. So he missed it by 3 seconds. The counting, he missed it by 3 seconds, and the daughter became a widow, and he writes the book, one of the authoritative textbooks on Indian astrology is this man, and he dedicated this book to his daughter. Meaning what? Prarabdha cannot be
managed.
Prarabdha cannot be managed by astrologer by manipulating the
Time.
By manipulating the time or manipulating the planet, or by ensuring that you satisfy the planets. They will make sure that intensity of prarabdha is reduced, or prarabdha itself will go away. Some go to God, some will say no, God has supreme power. Because of his supreme power, if you please God, that God will ensure that you will not suffer from prarabdha. Therefore, don't worry about pleasing these navagrahas, these homas and all that. Please Narayana or please Shiva. If you please Shiva, he has supreme power. He would help you to overcome this. Veda says Shiva will not do that. Narayana will not do that. You can only pray to Shiva. You can only pray to Narayana and say, ensure that my buddhi doesn't get deluded while I am going through prarabdha. That is the actual prayer. Ensure that my buddhi doesn't get deluded when I am going through my prarabdha. What is the delusion of the buddhi means? Delusion of the buddhi means somehow there can be a method by which I can overcome it. One of the important things that we need to know about is this prayaschitta karma. Now that you talked about it, I am spending some time on explaining this. Otherwise, I would never venture into this. I would never venture into this particular topic. Also, we know that the Kumbhakarna, prarabdha is he has to sleep. So when he asked for the boon, the tongue slipped and he uttered that word where God said, Tatastu, granted. What is the boon? 6 months I will sleep. He thought by tapas and by pleasing God, he can escape that. So we have so many things and so many examples from the Puranic stories, from the real life to explain that prarabdha has to be experienced. Prayaschitta karma is, sometimes they ask you to do a gross karma to get a firm result. Sometimes they use the gross karma. They make you do a gross karma to get a firm result. What is the, so prayaschitta means a firm a firm resolve. That firm resolve can come through knowledge and understanding. Sometimes it comes through a set of elaborate,
Karmas.
prescribed elaborate karmas. It comes through that also. Who is the adhikari to tell you that this is the prayaschitta that you have to do? Not the astrologer. The adhikari is not the astrologer. The adhikari is the adhikari to tell you that this is your prayaschitta karma is the Guru. And 99% of the time he would not say anything because it doesn't really make a big. He says, do lot of karma yoga. Do lot of yajna karma. When you are doing karma yoga and yajna karma, prayaschitta gets included automatically in that. Because the mind is getting tempted. No, the mind doesn't want to do it. The mind doesn't want to do it. There is this doubts and indecisions and so many things, indecisiveness about the very fruit of it. Indecisiveness about the fruit of it means, or rather, I am doing it. I don't know whether I am doing the right thing or not. Is it actually a prayaschitta karma? Therefore, all these difficulties will arise. So, by definition, the prarabdha karma is karma which has to be exhausted through experience, and while you are experiencing that wonderful quality that would help you to carry you through that period without the buddhi getting deluded is the quality titiksha, and this titiksha becomes one of the preparatory qualifications. Why it becomes one of the preparatory qualifications is because there are situations in life that I have to go through. That dukkha nivritti that attempt to dukkha nivritti will not work there. Also, I'm sure Subramaniam is referring to some of the interpretations where I think he also have heard that, where prayaschitta karma is to handle the prarabdha karma. They say, you do prayaschitta, prarabdha gets nullified. It won't get nullified. An intellectual person will practice titiksha to handle prarabdha karma. A devotional person would seek the strength from God. He would seek strength from God to manage that pain. But one thing both will not ask is removal of it, freedom from it, they will not ask. That is the entire strength in that. They will not ask removal of that or freedom from that. They will say, give me strength to go through this. Give me strength to endure this. Is it okay, Subramaniam?
Sure.
Yeah. No. So this is something, since you brought in this, I thought I would spend some time on elaborating this prayaschitta karma. Shariya? Is it okay?
Yes.
Kaivalya Upanishad. Where we left is Ashvalayana going and asking
Brahma.
Athoda we stopped. Mantra 1 order we stopped, isn't it?
Yes.
Mantra 1 order we stopped. Ashvalayana going and asking Lord Brahma, teach me Brahma Vidya. Teach me Brahma Vidya. And what is the glory of Brahma Vidya? The glory of Brahma Vidya is, he says, Varishtam, the words in the Upanishad. Varishtam means the highest, the greatest, Sada sadbihi. Sada, always the only goal of life. Always the only goal of life. Nigudam, secret known only to a few. Nigudam, a secret known only to a few. Sarva papam vyapohya, destroys all sins. Now, when philosophically, all sins means all agitations, no more punarjanma. This is what is meant by no more punarjanma. All agitations are gone, all vasanas are gone, no more punarjanma is sarva papam vyapohya. This Brahma Vidya, to know this Brahma Vidya, there is only one way to know this Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya andradhile it is clear. What? Knowledge is the way. Yeah, look at the word. The Brahma Vidya. It's not saying Brahma Karma, nor it's saying Brahma Upasana. It's saying Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya itself means knowledge is the only means to get there. Knowledge is the only means to get there. Is my volume clear or is it very low? It's okay. Oh, for Manohar it is not. Manohar is having some difficulty, but rest are all okay, no?
Okay, sir. It's okay.
Okay, Chen. Okay, yeah, right. Okay. Therefore, this is this Brahma Vidya. Teach me, O Bhagavan. This is verse number 1. Now, the question is asked. Now comes the answer. Beautiful answer. Tasmai saho vacha pitamahascha shraddha bhakti dhyana yogadavaihi na karmana na prajayadanena tyage amrutattvamanashuhu. Now, tasmai saho vacha pitamahascha shraddha bhakti dhyana yogadavaihi na karmana na prajayadanena tyage naike amrutattvamanashuhu. This mantra, extraordinary, very beautiful mantra, comes in the other Upanishads also, where the second part of the second sentence, na karmanana prajayadanena tyage naike amrutattva manashuhu, and the mantras 3, 4 is also known as Purna Kumbha mantra, welcoming the mantra. When the Guru comes, Orthodox people even today, when the Guru comes, the Orthodox way of welcoming the Guru, the sannyasi, is by saying this mantra. Very, 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 very beautiful mantra. Na karmanana prajayadanena tyage naike amrutattva manashuhu. The third mantra, fourth mantra, we will see it later. Now, tasmai saho vacha. Tasmai means to him. To him na ashvalayana. To that well-prepared ashvalayana. To that well-prepared student. Ada uttra kudadu. Yeah. To that well-prepared student, ashvalayana, Lord Brahma, to him saha. Verily, Lord Brahma said. Know that by. Know that. That means the Brahma Vidya, which he referred in the question. Teach me that Brahma Vidya, which is blah, 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 whatever it is. For which he is saying, know that. Know that. That here refers to Brahma Vidya. That know that Brahma Vidya by 3 words he uses. Shraddha, bhakti, dhyana. Know this, know that by the yoga of Shraddha, bhakti and dhyana. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Not by activity, nor by progeny. Tyage amrutatva manashubu. By renunciation, some attained immortality. Some attained immortality. Every word has to be, each and every word has to be explained in this mantra. Very beautiful mantra. So beautiful. Tasmai saho vacha. To him, musical it is. Tasmai saho vacha. To him, Brahma said, what? Shraddha bhakti dhyana yoga davaihi na karmana na prajayadanena tyage naike amrutatva manashuhu. First, Shraddha bhakti dhyana. Know this only by these three. Now, avaihi, may you know. May you know this. May you know. May you know, you will know this Brahma Vidya by this. Verse number 2 is giving the direct means for liberation. Verse number 3, stages in liberation. Verse number 3, stages in liberation, indirect. So here it is direct. Uruk direct polam, suttinum polam. He is saying there are two ways. One is you can reach, Chakkani Raja. You can take the straight road and go, or you can station Erangi. You can spend some time in each and every station and finally reach the destination also. The technical word is the cause and effect. Verse number 3 is Sakshat Karana. Verse number 3 is Sahakari Karana. Sahakari Karana means indirect, supporting, contributory means. Indirect means supporting means contributing. I'll explain all that when you go there. Beautiful. First is to attain this Brahma Vidya, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana. Shraddha, faith, Bhakti, devotion, Dhyana, meditation. What is that direct means? These are the direct means. Not by progeny, not by karma, not by progeny. Why he is saying not by this is because people are so stuck. People were so stuck in these two. So he says, na karmana, na prajaya. One of the authoritative verses in Vedanta to say that karma yoga is not a direct means for moksha. Karma is not a direct means for moksha. Children and all that, which is more meant for doing the ritualistic portions and all that, again they are not going to give moksha. Tyage naike amrutatva manashuhu. Nor by activity, nor by progeny, by renunciation. By renunciation, what you should understand is by renunciation of everything. By renunciation of wealth, activity, progeny. Few attained immortality. Few attained immortality. Whoever has attained immortality, these are the method. First, we'll take these three. What are the three? Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyanam. We said the means for Brahma Jnana. The question that Ashwalana is asking is, what is the means? for Brahma Jnanam. What is the means for Brahma Jnanam? For which he is saying there are two means. One is preparation, contributory, secondary. Another is direct. Even in the Isavasi Upanishad, the direct method is said first. Mantra number 1, Isavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrida kasyasvid dhanam, where the direct method is said first. Then in the next verse only he gives the supporting discipline. Same thing here also. He gives a supporting discipline in the next verse. What does the direct means? The direct means is Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyanam. Now, what is Shraddha means? Shraddha means this. A conviction in the unknown. That is Shraddha. A faith, we don't say faith, we say a conviction in the unknown is Shraddha. How can you have conviction in the unknown? Known allam prayojanam illiye. When all the known has become useless, automatically the conviction in the unknown comes. Atha ashvalayana. Are you able to follow? Why the atha is very important? You cannot actually have conviction in the unknown directly. By understanding all that known is of no. When all the known is of no use, it is not helping you in any way. A conviction comes in the unknown. So, Shraddha is what? A conviction in the unknown. And you can't ask, how can I have conviction in the unknown, sir? How do you have conviction in the medicine? Do you know anything about the medicine? How do you have conviction in the medicine? Understanding of the Vyadi. More you understand the Vyadi, more conviction you will have in the medicine. You can't read everything about the medicine and then develop a conviction. Are you able to follow? So the conviction is dependent upon what? Not knowing the unknown. It is knowing a complete understanding in relation to the known. What is it in relation to the known? It is temporary. It is of no use. It appears to give you sukha, but only ends up giving dukkha. It appears to give you sukha. Sukham kudukra madri oru, it appears to give you. It cheats you by showing you that there is some sukham in that. That's why you say, I feel cheated. They cheated me, sir. This phone, I got cheated. You feel cheated. When do you feel cheated? The hope of sukha was there. But then when the reality strikes you, what is the reality? The dukkha, you feel cheated. Now this person through buddhi has understood all this. Therefore, he has a conviction in the, therefore, Shraddha comes in the unknown. Therefore, Shraddha na conviction in the unknown. How can you have conviction in the unknown? By understanding the known. By understanding the known, you develop a conviction in the unknown. That's Shraddha. This is the definition of Shraddha. How to get this Shraddha? How to develop this Shraddha? It will not come naturally. You have to develop it. How? So this is the definition of Shraddha. Then comes the greater problem of how do I get it? How do I get Shraddha? Consistent Systematic study of the scriptures will give you Shraddha. There is no other means to gain Shraddha. Shravana and Manana. There is no other means to gain Shraddha other than Shravana and Manana. Because all other methods are only increasing it doesn't increase the Shraddha. See, minus the Shastric knowledge, minus this, people say, sir, we have to have belief in God only. No, sir, ultimately speaking, there's only belief in God. No. Why can't we straight away have belief in God? God will become the means, something else will become the end. God will become the means, something else will become the end. It is only through Shastric knowledge where God will become the end, not the means. See, today God has become the means. No. How to get rid of my problem? Do this prayer. So God becomes the means, end is dukkha only. That is why Shraddha in God can come only through Shravana and Manana. Yajnavalkya teaches this. Yajnavalkya teaches in the Sadvidya portion, he teaches this to Maitreyi, saying Shravana Manana Nididhyasanavyam. Nididhyasanavyam, he says. Only by these you will, Shravana Manana Nididhyasana Maitreyi alone you will get it. Only through that you will get it. And what does the Shastra teach? Shastra asks this question. Ask yourself, what is the closest to you? What is the dearest to you? Ask yourself this question. Don't tell me. Everybody ask yourself this question. Karmana Prajaya Dhanena. Brahman Varadanga. God Varad. Are you able to follow the connection? He says, everybody should ask this question to oneself. What is the closest to me? What is the most dearest? Pasanga sir. Na prajaya, for which he says, na prajaya. Somebody else will say, sir, even children will be there only if you have wealth. Therefore, wealth is dearest. Wealth irundada bharya bibhyati tasmin. Sir, if you become old, nobody in the house will heed. Nobody in the house will heed to you. Nobody in the house will heed to you. One of the fellows says, he said very beautifully in one of the discussion. This guy here, he said, have you ever seen a wealthy old man being in an orphanage? Father and mother having lot of wealth. Will the children go and put them in the orphanage? Who are there? Those who don't have anything. Therefore, it is proven that even for children to take care, you need dhanam. Na dhanena, na prajaya, na dhanena. No. Idallam correct, sir. Nalla karyam panni punya sambarichikkanum nariya. We have to do lot of good karma and gather punya. Verse number 20. Verse number 21. Chapter 9. Correct. Verse number 21, chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita. Kshine punye. Kshine punye. Even that punya will get diminished and exhausted. Therefore, all this is not the method. That's what he meant by not by activity, nor by progeny, nor by wealth, but by renouncing all this. So what is jnanam? What is jnanam here? Asking this question to yourself. What is what is the dearest one to you? In Brihadaranyaka, he says, the wife is not dear for the sake of the wife, but for the sake of the self in the wife. You see something of yours in that. Yeah, that's why they are. Yeah. As long as you see yourself, my wife, there is that thing. The moment that my wife goes, enmity comes, what happens? Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena. So first thing is Shraddha. First thing he says is Shraddha. And how do you develop this Shraddha? Shraddha means conviction in the unknown, conviction in the transcendental reality, conviction in Brahman is Shraddha. That's why I called it as unknown. How would you, what is the way to develop this Shraddha? The only way to develop the Shraddha is number one, Shravana and Manana. First is consistent, systematic study. Consistent systematic random book vaangilla, title attractive sir, you can't buy a book and read. It has to be a systematic study. Second thing is the faith is, the first faith is the Shravana from the Shastras. The second faith is in your intellect, in the capacity of your intellect. Angyo Shraddhavan. The capacity in the capacity about the power and strength of your intellect. Ipo Shastramla konja Shraddha. Nowadays, even if you have little bit of Shraddha in the Shastras, the second aspect of Shraddha is literally not there. The conviction about the strength of the intellect, because it is the intellect that is going to do this vicharam and inquiry and understand what the Shastra says. No? So second thing is faith in the faculty of the intellect to reflect and understand. Second thing. I do all this, my ajnanam will go. Conviction in that. If I do all this, Shravana, Manana, and follow whatever is there, the power of the intellect and all that, my ignorance will go. Ajnana nivritti will happen. My ignorance will go. But sir, Karthala padichu mudichita sayangalam onnume agaliyana, it will not. Padichu mudichita nothing. It will not work like that. Yeah, that's where I said liberation is a project that runs over. It is not like gaining a PhD degree in 3 years, Raj. Yeah, anga professors ella okay and solli 3 varshathula degree vaangin odi vandirla. Inga adella nothing can be. It is a project that runs over a long period of time. Adada dramatica, I call it as over many janmas. Over many janmas, it spread over many janmas. Idallan Shraddha. All this belongs to Shraddha. Then comes Bhakti. Bhakti helps in removing the samshayas, doubt. Bhakti irundha ennagum, till there is a time gap between Shravanam and wisdom. There is a time gap between Shravanam and wisdom. In between that time gap, what would keep you going is Bhakti. Bhakti would keep you going in the interim period. What is that interim period? You have heard, logically you have understood, but then the transformation has not yet happened. That nishta has not happened. That establishment didn't happen. So what would sustain you? Not reading one more book. not reading one more book, not reading to, not listening to one more discourse, not listening to another person discourse. I'm not saying don't do all that, please. I'm not suggesting even any of this. But what would sustain is the bhakti. That is why he says Shraddha and Bhakti. Then comes Dhyana. I have a few more things. I will continue verse number 1 in the next class also. I'm not concluding it. I have a few more things to talk about the Shraddha, Bhakti and Nakarmana, Prajaya, Dhanena, Dalla. I just gave an indication in the direction in which we will be analyzing. What is Dhyanam, meditation? Because of this conviction and bhakti, the mind stays put in a place. This mind stay puts in a place. And that mind staying put in a place is very vital. That mind staying put in a place is what is known as Dhyanam, meditation. And there are a lot of techniques for Dhyanam, which we will see all that. Which we will see because in the context of Upanishad, they will just use the word. That's all. All the disciplines we have to include in that. They will not list out them. They will not list out. Shraddha Bhakti Dhyanatla you will get. What is he saying? How to get Brahma Vidya? Answer is Shraddha Bhakti Dhyanatla kadakku porudhu. What is the help? Literally no. Literally the answer doesn't help at all. To Ashwalayana it helped. To Ashwalayana it helped. For us it is not of any help. We'll say. And then we have a problem of what is Shraddha, how to develop Shraddha, and then we have a Bhakti, and then we have what is Sakama Bhakti, Nishkama Bhakti, and then we have this Dhyana. So we have so many of all these things. So we discuss everything in detail, one by one. But the analysis varathukku, Jnanam. What is the starting point of the analysis? What is it that is dearest to you? What do you think is the dearest to you? Myself. I am the most dearest person to myself, sir. Yeah. That is why you can never get tired of listening to your own voice. However horrible your voice is, you will sing. Because you will never get tired. The other person only will have to close the, because how much ever I am blabbering, it is so nice for me to hear. Yeah. Are you able to follow? What is the dearest? Who is the dearest to everybody? One's own self. That one's own self cannot be happy by itself. It needs Prajaya, Dhanena and all that. Therefore, it is reflected. From them. Any child doesn't give happiness. My child gives happiness. So, what is the closest to me at one level? The person says, at one level, the closest is wealth, activity, progeny. Wealth, activity, progeny is not direct. It is indirect. So at stage number 2, what is the happiest thing? Myself. If you are the happiest thing, why is the attempt of dukkha nivritti coming in then? It means you are dukkha. You are dukkha. Are you able to follow? If you are the closest, anyway you are the closest to you already. You being the closest to you already, you being joyful to you already, then where is dukkha coming from? Dukkha is nischaya, no? Dukkha is real, no? Where is it coming from? You have mistaken, and the first indirect mistaken is child wealth and activity. Second is the little self is the closest under the second mistake. What is the reality? I am, as long as you don't recognize that I am the self, as long as you don't recognize that I am the self, this will continue. So what is Brahma Vidya now? Brahma Vidya is not some external Vidya. Brahma Vidya is saying, Brahma Vidya is that knowledge that tells you, that teaches you, I am the self. Are you able to follow? The knowledge that teaches you that I am the self, the knowledge that helps you to experience I am the self is Brahma Vidya. And how do you get it? Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Yoga, Davaihi. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena eke amrtatvam anshuhu. This tyagena eke amrtatvam is the beautiful thing, which I will take up in the next session. Tyagena eke amrtatvam. Amrtatvam vanuma, give up. You want moksha? Give up. What? Give up. What I should give up? What I should give up nale edo list vechirukanu artham illaya. What I should give up na, you have a list already, no? Ennalla irukudho? Give up. What all is there? What all I should give up? What all you have? What all you have? Ennallam irukudhu. Give up. Tyage naike amrtatva manashuhu parena nakan nihitam guhayam. He is going to come. First number mantra 3 and 4 and all. Yeah. So the analysis is this. What is the closest to you? At one level, the external. At another level, the body. At another level, the jiva. All, and then you keep negating that. No. Finally, you will be left with Brahman. And then what is Brahma Vidya now? It is not teaching about Brahman is Brahma Vidya. Teaching you are that Brahman is Brahma Vidya. Adha Vidyasa. It is not about, it's not teaching about God. It is not teaching about Brahman, that is Brahma Vidya. Teaching that you are Brahman is Brahma Vidya. Seriya? With this I conclude for today, and we continue on Thursday on same answer, and then we'll go on to the following rest of the Upanishads. Hari Om.